Okay. So if I am talking about that topic, which is called as um, unfolding birth, right? So do you think that unfolding birth here refers to water lily? Does it refer to water lily?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how?
Yes, sir. So this poem refers to a water lily.
So what is? How does it look like water lily? Who is the poet of this poem?
Sir, it is a lily, but in water. Sir, the poet.
Naoshi Koriyama, a Japanese poet who studied English literature in the United States and returned to teach in Japan. So he began to write poems while he was, you can say that, away from home, and went on to publish 9 collections in English. Besides 3 translated from Japanese, he has recently published a collection entirely in Japanese. This poem compares the flowering of a water lily to the process of understanding a poem. If you say that unfolding bird is a poem that takes the one of the flowers called a water lily and how the process of its beginning to unfold and put one petal after a petal, right? So, and how it blooms and prosper its beauty spread in the nature. Likewise, its a comparison is made with a poet's written poem. Any of the poem that we read, we generally find out some kind of a difficulty of understanding, right? So whether it is a simple one or a means easy one, sorry, simple one or a hard one, but once it uh, when we start reading that poem, right, so we find out some kind of a difficulty, and once we understand uh, and we go depth into it, we find out the inner quality of that poem and discover new things, right? So the water lily blooms gradually over a few days. It takes time. Similar to that in the poem, means once we read line after line or a stanza after stanza, we draw a lot of things. So unfolding bird is indicating about each passing day, how the flower takes time to open it, reveal it into complete flower. The opening process of a water lily seems amazing as per the poet, as it gets beautiful to more beautiful with the passage or the course of time. The dimensions, the layers, and the color change each day of this flower. So at the first set of reading of a poem, it's compared to a tight clothes bird. If you read the first part of it, so it is trying to compare to a tight clothes bird. And yes, we as a reader or as the readers find it surprising, astonishing, as the poet has brilliantly expressed what he felt using the words like tight, closed bird, not amazed. So these are creating or making us understand that when one uh, reads a poem, one doesn't get amazed, but as one keeps reading, continuing, and finds it interesting, it's like exactly a flower. So here it is taken as example of lily flower, but if you take into any flower, you say, as a reader, it is actually surprised when we keep reading a poem again and again. A poem has different layers, different stanza, right? When as a reader you read it again and again, you get to see the richness and the kind of a content, the kind of a figure of speech, ornamental language, binding in it, right, makes the poem exceptionally well. So the poem unfolds or unfolding bird is like an unfolding tiny bird of water lily. When you read a poem, you fail to understand the magic it holds. But as you read it again and again, the poem reveals the, the beauty out of it, like the flower, lily flower, the richness contained into it. So every time you reveal a new things. So it's not about the, again, one poem. It's all about all the good poems. So they do have a colorful feathers, like the wings of a beautiful bird. You may call it a flower too, with its dazzling petals. The water lily grows larger in size and also get a deeper color when unfolds. In the same way, a poem also flourishes a process of understanding. Process of understanding. Now, let me take you to the poem, right? And we'll understand what it tries to tell us. Let's see that the poem stated about how many stanzas this poem contains. How many stanzas this poem contains?
Three stanzas.
Okay. So the first stanza, let me.
Sir, can you share the PDF with us, sir?
Yep. Okay. I'll try to share the PDF with you. Yeah. Can you see it? Is it the PDF? Can you see my PDF?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Look into it. The poem begins with saying that
Yes, sir.
the title, Unfolding Bird, now she Kariyamma. Now the poem begins by saying one is amazed by a water lily unfolding with each passing day. taking on a richer color and new dimensions. Now, when you are talking about water lily, it's a flower, right? Like lotus, right? So, and the poet stated that he is overwhelmed, right? The poet is overwhelmed and excited and also, you know, astonished. Why he or she is amazed or astonished and overwhelmed? Now, because of the beauty that reflects or that comes out from the means this beautiful flower. When each passing day, it means one after another day, taking on a richer color and new dimensions. Taking on a richer color means the color that shines, that means, that beautifies, that attracts, that fascinates, right? That glaze and that shows the new size of each petal after it's prospers. So that's what is the poet's reaction. The poet also stated in the second stanza, one is not amazed at a first glance by a poem which is as tight closed as a tiny bird. So the poet wants to convey that the water lily flower, right, is not shown the same kind of a beauty once it is means closed, or it's all these birds or all these petals are tightly closed and it's in a means form of a tiny bird. So at that time, the kind of beauty that cannot be appeared out of it. So the poet takes the example of the poem and stating or comparing the poem with it and stating that one shall not get the same kind of expression, right, at the beginning of the reading of a poem. One is not amazed, one is not means overwhelmed, one is not surprised, one is not um, fascinates by the reading of any poem at the first look or at the first uh, appearance, which is as tightly tight closed as a tiny bird. So the poem is not understood at the beginning stage, doesn't seem the same kind of means understanding at the first reading, doesn't means reflect the same kind of means ideology that at the beginning. So like the beautiful flower, when it is completely closed at that time, as a very small bird, tiny means called as a small. Yet one is surprised to see the poem gradually unfolding, revealing its rich inner self as one reads it again and over again. So the poet who pointed here that one is surprised, but one is surprised to see the poem gradually unfolding. Gradually unfolding means what? Now, when means he sees the poem, he reads the poem, and he doesn't get it, he doesn't understand the beauty inculcated into it, the message that hid into it, right? So he did not get the same kind of a charm. So, but once he goes or she goes inside the poem and reads and understands one after another stanza, so it means like one after another petals of that beautiful lily flower reveals or opens up. Similar to that means the beautiful poem also gives us the same means it gives us the inner depth of that writing and inner depth of the poet's thinking, revealing its rich inner self. Who is revealing or what is revealing? Now, the rich quality, like the beauty contained into the lily water, lily flower, right? So, can be identified once it opened all. Similar to that, the poem contains the quality, rich quality can be found once it is understood. Once one reads it again and over again. Again and over again means until he understands the poem and the deeper meaning present into it. So therefore, the poet Naoshi Koriyama made a very simple poem, but at the same time, he his or her making comparison poem with the lily water, lily flower is really praiseworthy because both are doing the same job to the poet and to the nature lover, right? To the reader too, right? That is what called as an unfolding bird is equivalent to the unfolding means a poem. Am I clear? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubt, any query that you please ask?
Yes, sir.
me.
No, sir.
Shall I ask you some questions?
Yes, sir.
Shall I ask you some question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
My question. Okay. What is your first read? What is our first reading of a poem compared to? Do we find that surprising? What is our first reading?
What is?
What is our first reading of a poem compared to?
Sir, it is compared to the first sight of an unopened or unfolded bud.
Okay. Then after? Do we find that surprising? Do we find that surprising?
Sir, we find it surprising because as the like the bud opens, sir, it means glue when as the bud unfolds itself, it shows its beauty, its nature, and similarly, the more a person reads the poem, the more he understands and the more beauty of the poem or the meaning of the poem reveals.
Let me tell you the answer to this is called as our first reading of a poem is compared to a tight closed word, right? Because it's indicated what is our first reading of a poem compared to. So the answer will be called as our first reading of a poem is compared to a tight closed word. Please do note down. The second question is called as do we find that surprising? Yes or no? Yes, we do find it surprising. Why? Now, because the poet has brilliantly expressed what he felt using the words like tight, closed bird, not amazed, right? To make the readers understand that when we first read a poem, we do not get fascinated, but as we keep reading ahead, we find it interesting. So that's why if you talk about the question, So do we find that surprising? Yes, right. And please do remember, question is asked, what is our first reading of a poem compared to? So it is compared to closed tight bird, isn't it? So closed bird or tight closed bird, right? That's one. Okay, my next question. Does the water lily open up quickly over a night or a day or gradually over a few days? How you support your answer? Does the water lily open up quickly over a night or day or gradually over a few days? What supports your answer?
Hello.
Yeah, tell.
Sir, actually my headphone got disconnected. So could you please repeat the question what you just
My
said?
question is, does the water lily open up quickly over a night or day or gradually over a few days?
Sir, it opens up gradually over some few days.
It means it takes the time, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And how do you justify that through the poem?
Sir, I don't have exactly the word.
Okay. In the poem, when you read unfolding bird, we find out a line where it is written unfolding with each passing day. The meaning of each passing day indicates that it does not grow in a, you can say that in a night or in night or called as in a day, right? So, or over a night or over a day. So it takes few days to make it complete flower, right? So that's why look into the line where it is clearly mentioned that what? Now each passing day. Can you find out in the first stanza, third line or fourth line where it is written unfolding with each passing day? That supports the answer. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So where is that Srujan? Is he listening?
Sir,
Srujan?
he is listening, but he is just answering in the chat. He cannot speak.
Okay. The
Yes,
second.
sir. He said yes, sir.
Okay. Second question. What is amazing about that process of opening up? What is amazing about that process of opening up? Tell me two things change each day. The second question, which is given in your book.
So the second question which is given in our book.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot my book is over there. Sir, just a minute.
Okay. What is amazing about the process of opening up? What two things change each day?
Okay, sir. I'm back, sir.
Yeah, tell.
Sir, it was the second question of what is amazing about the process of opening up. What two things change each day?
Yeah.
Sir, as the water lily opens up, the amazing thing is that, sir, the colors and the dimensions of the water lily change.
Yep. You can say that in a proper manner by saying that the opening process of a water lily, is amazing as it gets more beautiful with the passage of time or each passing day or few with the you can say with the few days. The dimension means the sides, the layers, and the beautiful color changes each day. right, support the idea that the opening process of a water lily is amazing. Okay, let's go for the fourth question. When are we actually surprised about the poem? What causes it? When are we actually surprised about the poem? And what causes it?
Uh, Sir, we are surprised by the poem when we read it many times, and it slowly, the poem's inner meaning slowly reveals itself to us.
Yes. So you can also give in a very well manner by stating that we are actually surprised about a poem when we keep reading it now and then, again and again, right? Reading a poem has different layers to it. When we read it again and again, now and then, we get to see the rich content hiding into it, the dimensions of the poem, the size of the poem, and the when a broad idea kept behind it, right, makes us nothing but surprising. Very good. Okay, let's go for the question number 5. Does the poem just unfold as time passes, or does it happen when we do something a few times? What do we have to do?
So the poem unfolds itself only when the reader reads it many times.
The poem unfolds when we or the reader reads it again and again. So as the poem is like an unfolding tiny bird of water lily, when we first read a poem, we fail to understand the magic content into it. It holds, but as we read it uh, repeatedly and again, the poem opens its dimensions and richness to us, just like the means shy, tiny, closed water lily. You can say that uh, that opens the layers by every passing day or each passing day. Okay, let's go for the last question. The water lily grows larger in size and gets a deeper color as it unfolds. What does the poem do? The water lily grows larger in size and gets a deeper.
Sir, the poem opens. Sir, the poem opens up and reveals its inner truth or inner self.
Yeah. So you can
Inner meaning.
You can say that all the good poems, colorful feathers like the wings of a beautiful bird, right? So readers can call it a flower too, with its dazzling petals. The water lily grows larger in size and also gets a deeper color when unfolds its petal after petal. In the same way, a poem flourishes a process of understanding. That's a answer to this sixth question. So I'll do one thing. I ask you, both of you, to write down this question number 1 to 6 answer and send it to me. You have 10 minutes time. Please do them, right? Do those questions and send it to me quickly. Am I audible?
Done.
Have you written all these questions answer? Send it to me.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.